Mount Vesuvius.
Do you think you get arrested for that?
It would be like Pompeii, where, like that volcano exploded. It coats everyone. Yeah, it just it just becomes solid.
Yeah.
The entire airport, no one.
Statue.
People forget
this is how he died. These were his last moments. We can see him fisting. We don't know what though.
Look at his facial expression.
You can
Pure
see-
pleasure.
Well,
Pure
apparently
horror.
how like people, the heat blast from the volcano was so hot that when people died, it like shriveled them up. But like when people shrivel up, they go in, and some people are just sitting there. When they shrivel in, and it just puts their hand on their crotch. So there's like a ton of pictures of people being like, "Oh, this guy was jerking off, and he died in Pompeii."
God bless him.
Not jerking off.
I wasn't, bro.
Gotta say, jerking off probably wouldn't be that bad of a way to go. I mean,
Wait.
it would suck, but you would be your dick would be hard. You'd be happy. You're like trying to bust him
Are
out.
you talking about jacking off and then having a volcano literally bury you under ash?
Well,
Well, you'd have to deal with the suffocation then. But if it was like a nuclear explosion, you're just like, what was it? And that's
Yeah.
it. And you don't have to worry, you go out how you live.
What you have to do for that, for nuclear explosion, is you have to be in public when you're doing it, so that your ash is like permanently burned and etched into the side of like the concrete. So people see you jacking off all the time.
they can actually see where your dick was in your hand as it's etched into the
When
ground.
we go to Hiroshima, we have to look to see if this is true.
I don't think we'll find it. Something tells me that
Hey.
we're not gonna find it.
You never know. You never know.
What I think would be awesome is
Saying
if you die
at
that.
Hiroshima.
Yeah, that. But if you were to just put it in there.
You're done.
Yep. If you if you were to die, like let's say you get vaporized, right, and there's an ash residue, it would be hilarious if you were like sitting naked on a sidewalk and you'd have your ass cheeks and your ball print just etched into the sidewalk forever.
Oh, dude, what do you think would be your worst way to die?
Worst way to die.
Apparently, suffocation and knowing who's suffocating you is...
That's the scariest.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
like, what's
But I want
your
to know
personal worst
what
one?
you think the worst way to go would be.
Um,
Because I know mine for sure. What? Is drowning.
yeah.
Drowning and not being able to do anything about it.
That's
Like-
kind of the same as suffocating.
I have
but-
that same nightmare like all the time.
I never have...
I don't have that as a nightmare.
It's scary.
The thing that like makes my palms sweat every time is when people like the sense of vertigo just like dropping suddenly.
Yeah.
Like one of the most like not terrifying but more like most jolting videos I've ever seen first watch was this video that I saw where this guy hops up into a tree and then like the caption is like, "Ooh, it's the Jamaican
Tree jumper.
a tree jumper or whatever." I don't know. What's the
Doesn't matter.
Tarzan. The Jamaican Tarzan, he's like swinging in the tree doing all these crazy things and then he just lets go and drops into like a 50-meter pit of water. And I was like, "Whoa!" Like just watching the video and just suddenly my heart just like jumps into my throat.
I gotta say the worst way would be falling off and dying from something like a skydiving accident. Because if you're not liquefied on impact, you are going to feel the worst pain you cannot imagine.
Oh yeah.
It's only gonna be for like a split second.
No, because if you don't die directly on impact, you can still be alive for a while.
Yeah, some people stay alive from shock.
Your
when they
hearing's the
die.
last thing to go, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know that everything in your body is a straight mist right now.
That way, when you die, you can hear fucking Dane goopy dancing next to you.
Probably my worst way to die would probably being like tortured to death. Just like that
Yeah,
would be
that's pretty
horrible.
bad.
That would
That would
suck.
be horrible.
Nate,
It's kind of kinky, though.
No.
Of course you'd say that. Yeah, probably drowning, honestly, but what are your guys' like worst fears? This kind of ties into like worst way to die.
Worst
like
fears.
your worst fear. Or not even like
well, having
worst,
my,
maybe not the worst, but like what are some things you're really fucking scared of?
I don't want my mushroom tip skinned. I think that would kind of suck.
Ooh.
Someone
that is-
takes like a potato peeler.
That's
to
your
their dick.
worst fear?
Well, it's a pretty good.
Dude, my most,
touch my dick, bro.
my most rational fear, I think, well, most irrational fear for a long time was escalators that went down. Absolutely terrified of those.
Bro, that's you guys have
No. That
worst fears.
was my most irrational fear. My most rational fear is having to get a catheter.
Oh,
Because every single, not just in a hospital, because they usually put that in when you're knocked out, or they're like, I'm just gonna numb in, put it in there, whatever. They just leave it in there. But when you're old, some people have to use a catheter every single time they use the bathroom.
Wait, are you talking about like the one they put up your butt or the one they put in your?
in your dick.
Either one.
Urethra.
Either
I
one.
feel like the butt one wouldn't be that bad. The dick one though.
It's like, imagine putting like a ballpoint pen. That's basically what it
Dude,
is.
stop.
Just kind of,
Is it real?
just
Oh my
weed.
God.
Yelling and sounding though.
No,
No.
not at all. That terrifies. That's a fear of mine. Getting sounded.
I saw a chart where it was level of like people are okay with trying on like the left side, and then the y-axis and the x-axis was level of kinkiness. It's just kind of like a regular curve, but at the very far right bottom, where it was people do not want to try and they consider it extremely kinky, is sounding.
I'm into it. I'm ready to try.
Oh,
Yeah.
you are an outlier.
Israel's been talking about it for like the last roughly month or so, but he said he's been.
No, I've been talking about it for like the last 2 years.
No, you legitimately started talking about it like the last couple months though. About legitimately talking about sound.
I think I started legitimately talking about it when I legitimately did the research on it.
Yeah.
You brought it up to us a few months ago.
I don't
remember,
imagine
'cause
it's
we'd always
hard to
joked-
do though.
We had always joked about sounding before, but you were like, "Yo, I think I might actually want to
Ugh.
try sounding."
Just think, it just makes my toes curl. I'm just like, no, like.
I can feel it tingling in my balls.
Yeah, like I get scared when I pee and I see I see the hole open up a little bit too much. I'm like, should it open that much?
Fuck you, close.
Because like it's not a huge amount, but like it's just your wiener expanding, like your urethra expanding to like compensate for fluid going through.
Piss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I'll look at it and I'm like, oh man, you could do a lot of damage with that. I'm gonna like try and close it back up.
Pinch that fucker.
So just imagining shoving something down there that it doesn't
Getting all
Sit right.
activated
Can we
over
please
here.
change the subject?
Dude, I
yeah.
can feel like if I feel it in like the middle of my chest, like I'm feeling like
All right, let's stop talking about shoving shit down our pee holes.
had
Let's go back to